We have a question for you. Celeste is a game which follows Madeline's epic quest to reach the top of a mountain. What does this have in common with a game like Psychonauts, which follows a young boy's quest to find a community of like-minded psychic spies?
While there may be many things that they have in common, what is undeniable is that they're all classified in the genre platform games. Stay tuned to learn much more about this popular video game subgenre.
When it comes to video game genres, there's a relationship between main genres and subgenres. Today, we're exploring the relationship between action games and their subgenre, platform games.
What this means is that platform games have all of the qualities of action games, but with enough specific, consistent, reliable, and popular core objectives that it's become its own category.
Action games are defined by their emphasis on motor skills, hand-eye coordination, and reflexes.
The objective of all platform games is to help the game's main character journey from point A to point B within a specific world. That world could be two-dimensional, which is the case in a game like Celeste, or three-dimensional, which is the case in a game like Psychonauts.
And the thing that makes platformer games thrilling to play are all of the obstacles that exist to derail the main character's ability to reach their destination.
Another feature of platformers is the perspective they offer. They often present a third-world view of the game's world, which gives the player a comprehensive view of what the world looks like, and possible pathways the player could take to reach their destination.
The way a player travels in platformers usually revolves around the player's controls. The player is usually seen jumping, sliding, gliding, falling, or resorting to a multitude of other mechanics.
Like most action games, a major appeal for wanting to play platformers is reaction stimuli. That physical reaction to what we see and do to win a game. Challenging oneself properly to execute and complete levels often give players a sense of self-achievement. Because of this, how the character moves and how the level is developed are the most important aspects of platformers.
Platformer video games will often create challenging designs by staggering level difficulties. That's why earlier levels in a game tend to be easier to navigate and complete than later levels, which tend to be more difficult. Celeste does this really well by slowly introducing different amounts of jumps the player can execute, integrating puzzle mini-games and encouraging quick reflex maneuvers.
Let's take a closer look at some of the design choices made in the game Celeste, which was made by Extremely OK Games. The objective for our player character, Madeline, is to reach the summit of Celeste Mountain. In order to do this, the player character must continually travel upward through dangerous terrain and challenging quick reflex parkour.
In the first chapter, The Forsaken City, Madeline's objective is to reach a rest point, which marks the end of the game's first level. The game's world, as mentioned before, is two-dimensional.
In fact, the world exists on a 2D plane, where Madeline can move up or down along a vertical y-axis, or left and right along a horizontal x-axis. Therefore, this landscape is flat. It has none of the depth you'd find in a 3D plane.
Despite the limits of a 2D world, Madeline has a lot of options for how to move. She's able to complete a normal jump and an empowered dash. She's also able to climb on walls, slide, and interact with a multitude of environmental objects like strawberries, machines, and one-up dashes.
But Madeline also has two lose conditions that limit where she can move. Firstly, if she lands on hazardous surfaces, like on spikes, she loses. Also, if she crosses the game's boundaries by falling out of frame, she loses.
So let's recap. We've defined the world of Celeste as existing on a 2D plane. We've defined the many ways Madeline can move through this world and win. And we've identified two lose conditions that clarify where Madeline cannot go if she wants to progress and win the game. This is the basic system that encompasses the first chapter of the game Celeste.
2D platformers are some of the easiest video games to design due to their ability to be visually mapped out similarly to how they would look in the game. For example, you could design an entire level with character mechanics on graph paper.
Platformer games are relatively simple to understand and easy to pick up on. They serve as a foundation for most video games' inspiration and have stayed relevant throughout the years.
Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you're able to play some platformers. Bye!